I'm Indy Nidell, and this is another exciting episode of the Time Ghost Breakfast Club, isn't it, guys?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Boy, we're overjoyed to be here, and we have a few things to talk about. That's why we do these breakfast clubs. If you have not seen the many we've done before, which is one actually. Now you might notice this thing sitting right here. We are going to be eating this, and I'll talk about it a little later. That is Lord Wilton Pie. So we'll explain what that is in a bit. One thing I have to tell you guys, we are sort of celebrating an anniversary, because I realized 2 days ago that it was exactly 5 years since Sparty and Astrid and I sat down and came up with the idea for The Great War, which was our first historical documentary. I think there's a picture of the whiteboard that we were writing things out on. You can put up there. It was originally called World War I Weekly, as it says on the board, and you can see we're trying to figure out, how it was going to work. But it feels like it's been more than 5 years, but that we would not be here doing this for you guys without that day. So 5 years. Congratulations to us. Yay, 5 years. And we will of course be doing chronological documentaries for more than the next 5 years. And now that's all I have to say for right now. Over to you, Sparty.
Yeah, thank you. So a couple of days ago, we went out and we asked for your support in order to get us to France so that we can do the first specials about the Maginot Line and Sedan.
For the World War II channel.
For the World War II channel, yeah. And it's been going really well. We're very grateful for your support. So far, we've raised 3/4 of the funds out of the 4,000 that we need in order to finance the trip. Yeah, we're just so happy that it's going so well, and you're the best. You're the most awesome community in the world of communities. So, but we have that one last quarter left. So keep the fundraising rolling.
This is like one of those Jerry Lewis telethons that they had on TV when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Except without the artists performing.
Well, you have the phones in the studio.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, okay, never mind. Well, and over to you, Joram.
Yeah, so while we're there, we're going to host a fan meeting, as we discussed in the video we did. We're going to host this fan meeting in Verdun, or at least in a little village near Verdun called Romagne. And we're going to host a fan meeting at a place where Indy has already been before, at the Great War, in a museum called Romagne 1418.
An awesome guy named Jean-Paul runs it, and you'll meet him there. And that's why we're going to be there, because we've been there. We did a fan meeting there with the Great War, and it was a really good location for it. And Jean-Paul is really cool.
If you want to attend, if you want to be there, as we said, it won't cost you anything, but we would like you to send us an email to community@timeghost.tv.
But it is limited space, so if you write to us on the 8th and say, I'd like to come, you won't be able to.
Yeah, there will be room for 150 people. We don't know how many people will come, so just make sure to write us to save you a seat.
Is there anything else we needed to add?
No, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay. Many anniversaries coming up for the war this year. Yes. 80 years ago that it broke out, 75 years ago D-Day, so yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun this coming year. There's been one thing that's been going through my head a lot while I write. Actually, I came up with this question in my head because I was writing about Chiang Kai-shek for Between Two Wars, and trying to work out what the hell actually happened during the Canton coup. And we will never know.
As we always try to. Everyone out there is sure you were thinking the same. The Canton coup, that's a really bad name for a 90s band.
It is, isn't it? But I was sitting there, I was writing it, I was thinking, God, I wish I could just, because it's not really that important, but I want to know. So I was thinking, why can't I just go back and ask Chiang what the hell was going on to find out the truth? Of course, he could lie to me, so it would have to be like some kind of special arrangement. And then I came up with the idea, and I want to ask you guys that. If you could go back and you can ask one person one question, they will be perfectly honest.
No lying. They can't lie.
They can't lie. They're not allowed to lie.
You're not allowed to. Well, Mr. Hitler, you're not allowed to lie.
Well, maybe they've taken, like, okay, truth serum.
You're their best pal, and they want to tell you the truth.
Well, and they've been injected with some really powerful truth serum. Okay. They've got a lie detector. They can't tell you a lie. They're going to tell you the truth. Who would you ask, and what would you ask them?
Off the top of my head?
In history, yeah.
Off the very top of my head, without thinking about it and probably coming up with something better, the very first thing that I can think of is I would go back and I would ask Joseph Stalin, once and for all, did you invade Finland because you wanted to take over Finland, or were you just really concerned about the Karelian Isthmus and only wanted to move your defenses? Because I'm sick of writing about this in the comments every single week during the Winter War coverage. So that's what I would do. Although I'm pretty sure he wanted to take over Finland. That's why I keep arguing with you guys who don't think so. But that's top of my head. That's what I'd ask.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy.
At least it would settle an argument.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Vicky?
Well, we made an episode about Rudolf Valentino, and I'm really curious if I could ask him, and if we could both look back on what happened after he died, what would he think of it?
Okay. Oh, you mean like the funeral and Mussolini and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
See, and you're not using that for personal gain. I like that. That's for making the world a bit better. You, Astrid? You. Hey, you.
Yeah, you. I have personal gain. I want to talk to the guys that hid the Nazi treasure.
Yeah.
And want to know where it is. Because I'm a producer and I wouldn't have to ask for so much money.
And I'll tell you what, if this works out, then you don't have to worry about financing the trip to France.
That's why.
We got that then in that case. That's cool.
What about you, Jura?
I have something quite different I was thinking of. I would want to know how Marcus Tullius Cicero would feel about the fact, not only that he was murdered, partly thanks to Octavius, but also about the fact that Octavius, his former friend, turned out to be the first real emperor of his once beloved republic, which he always was enthusiastic to defend. So
That's a nice one, actually. I like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Octavian.
I'm a huge fan of Cicero.
Yeah, so you and I might have a problem.
Although I read somewhere by the historian Mary Beard, she wrote, well, it's not hard to like Cicero, since everything we know about Cicero, we know thanks to Cicero, who wrote about himself.
Yeah, he's not going to say, you know, I'm a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
But.
Well, okay, I have a question for you.
Sparty hasn't done one, right?
Well, I kind of did. I mean, I have another one, if you like. I mean, it was Chiang Kai-shek was the one that kind of like gave birth to the whole question, but that's very academic and not very interesting. One question that has been going through my head since, well, it was even before that, but especially since those 5 years and 2 days ago when we started working on the Great War, did Kaiser Bill actually know what he was doing when he wrote that damned letter up at the Baltic coastline?
Yeah.
Did he actually know?
I'm inclined to answer for him and say, no, of course not. You don't take a 3-week vacation when you're just about to plunge yourself into war.
I know, but still, it's Kaiser Bill, so you never know,
true.
right? I mean, he's
like, yeah, it's going to be a war, but it's very nice in Norway this time of year.
I mean, he's this mixture of a phlegmatic kind of like sympathetic character and a hard-ass fucking tyrant.
Do you know? It's
like weird.
My favorite line. He was not known for being a funny guy, but he was a really funny guy occasionally, right? When the House of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha changed their name to Windsor, the British royal house, during the war, because, the Germanic name, people were like, well, wait, our royal family's Germans, that's not such. So they changed their name from Saxe-Coburg-Gotha officially to Windsor. I think it was in 1918. It may have been late 1917. Well, anyhow, they did. And that night, the Kaiser wrote, well, that's a coincidence, because he was just going off to see his favorite opera, The Merry Wives of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. And I think that's really funny. And I'm like, oh, you got one, Kaiser Bill, you got one. So, anyhow.
Do you know that his first language was English?
No, but if you hum a few bars, I can try and pick it up. See, it's just zingers. It's just zingers back and forth here. It's like an episode of Hogan's Heroes, but without,
without Hogan.
Yeah.
Listen to me. If you could invite for dinner tonight 3 people out of history, just for dinner, okay, who would it be?
I would absolutely have Babe Ruth to dinner. I'd like to talk to him, not just about baseball, but to talk to him about everything. I think he'd be a really cool dinner guest.
Okay.
To talk about.
Then?
These are top of my head things. Well, now that we've said Octavian, Caesar Augustus, that would be kind of interesting to talk to him about how the actual transition from republic to empire went, and stuff, and how, how he felt when the years went from BC to AD. Like, what did you do? Did you have to get, did you have a calendar that was 1 BC and you have to throw it out and the next one's 1 AD? Because there's no year 0, man. And Caesar would probably look at me and go, what the fuck are you talking about? Ooh, I swore. But I would like to talk to Caesar Augustus. A third person. Maybe someone like Amelia Earhart or something who could talk about like, not just who would be a good dinner guest anyway, and could talk about like the weirdness of aviation and stuff, but could talk about stuff that we cover, like, you know, what it was like to be a woman in what was so much a chauvinistic world and stuff. Now that sounds a little PC, but that would be really fun, actually. You know, okay. I don't know. Those are just off the top of my head. But Babe Ruth would be the first one, absolutely.
Bigger. Dinner.
I'm really curious about this Rudolf Valentino.
You have a crush on Rudolf Valentino.
You guys, you got somebody?
Yeah, I'm a William of Orange.
Okay.
That's so Dutch.
It's very Dutch.
So Dutch.
Because you know, because he founded the Orange Amplifier.
Yeah,
Oh, for me,
it's orange.
It's really, really, really easy. I would take St. Peter, Karl Marx, and Adolf Hitler, because I just love a good argument.
Would you guys, and you guys could play ping pong afterwards. I wonder if Peter would like ping pong. I bet he'd be good at it.
I don't think he'd like Hitler much.
Yeah, okay. That is a bit more pressing issue. Anyway, what is also a more pressing issue is what we're going to do about this thing. This is Wilton Pie, or Lord Wilton Pie. Lord Wilton, the Earl of Wilton, was appointed by Neville Chamberlain as the Minister of Food in Britain in April 1940. And Moulton Pie is named after him because of the rationing and stuff. There were a lot of ingredients you could not longer get. So what you got is vegetable-based pies that people weren't particularly fond of, but this is what you might get. This recipe is from the Times, right? This is, I think this is one.
No, it's the other one.
It's the other one? Okay, well, we'll write it down in the description. So, cut up the Moulton Pie. Let's see what it tastes like.
And after we've tried it, you're going to get to see how Yoram actually made it. Astrid was deeply impressed because it contains Marmite.
It has Marmite in it? That's so weird.
Yeah.
Do you want to, and it's hard to, do you want a corner or do you want, oh,
there you go.
Nice and warm.
Okay.
Next.
Yeah, oh, that's, I got the whole thing? I got a lot of, I got a lot of crust.
You don't have to finish it.
I got a ton of crust.
There you go.
I need a knife.
I need
Is there a knife over
I
there?
have a knife.
Somehow this looks a little bit like a garbage bin of vegetables.
Oh,
I got,
Is that just me or?
come on, I got, yeah, it's a garbage bin of vegetables. And we need the gravy. Can you pass some gravy over?
Yeah, there's the gravy. It's
And apparently
somewhere.
you forgot the salt and pepper,
I
right?
did.
Salt and pepper.
But it's, so it's,
What is it like?
if it was going to be bad before,
Hey, is there
But I got
another-
mostly crust. I didn't
Can you
get too
give me
many
the fork for my
veggies.
plate?
you want more veggies?
That's okay. It'll be fine with the amount I
Is
got.
there another one?
And gravy. We need gravy. Here's some salt.
Yes.
Do they ration pepper?
I don't know. Can you hand
Okay.
hand over the gravy?
So this is it.
Gotta have the gravy.
Straight gravy for you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Wait,
That's straight step 4. Okay, that's good. There we go.
can we take it over? Yeah.
Okay, so Wilton Pie.
Okay, Wilton Pie. Okay.
It's all right. It's a little bland, but you know.
Huh?
Can I have some gravy as well?
Hey, that is really good.
is it?
Is it
Yes.
now?
Surprising.
Yes.
I don't know what were they eating before that this wasn't tasty? This is tasty.
Huh?
This is tasty.
Is it? Maybe you're just lucky.
What you need to make Wilton Pie is, first of all, a lot of vegetables. So here we got the cauliflower, we got the carrots, we got the parsnip, spring onion, and potatoes. What, looks terrible?
No, I'm serious. It's
Now there were a variety of recipes, of course, that went under the catch-all name Wilton Pie, but this is one of the more official ones. But you might find this at the Savoy, places like that, from 1940. Yeah, this is okay. It's not bad. It's not exciting. It's not exciting, but
I could survive a war.
I kind of like the crust actually. It feels a little. It tastes more like potatoes than it is potatoes in it, right? Yeah.
so the crust is a potato crust. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, that's Wilton Pie, and that was Time Ghost Breakfast Club. See you next time. Oh, good.
I could go through World War II on this.
I might get tired of it every day, but once in a while it's
No,
nice.
but if you add meat to this, it would be
Yeah, that wouldn't be Wilton Pie. It's like when you get sushi and go, you know, if you fried this, it'd be really good.